Pastor Haley, can you elaborate more on the kids and how they're behaving?
Yeah, well, we have such excellent God-given kids in our church. God has really blessed us to have such wonderful, bright, and intelligent children made in His image. I mean, all of our children are beautiful, and they all have such unique qualities. We love the children. The children are just the gems of our church. I mean,
how many children do you have in the
well,
program?
we're at full capacity. I want to say, definitely over 30.
Over 30. And what's the class structure like?
So we definitely follow the rules, and we have a ratio with the teachers that we have present. We have enough teachers. We thank God for our staff and everybody that we have, and that we have our staff. Our staff definitely doesn't get paid full. They're working for the Lord. And
so you have would you say that you don't have a very big budget to play with, but you have a great staff who takes care of the children?
Yeah, we do compensate them, but they are working for the Lord, and God bless them. God is going to see them through and to bless them. They're such wonderful. They're volunteers, but they're just really working for God and the church. We're serving the kids, and so we trust our teachers, and we love them. We know our teachers love the kids.
So you have a lot of respect for them.
Yes, because they're a big help. I mean, without the teachers, the kids ministry would not be possible without our teachers with giving up their time, and our teachers are so dedicated. I'm actually
Pastor Haley, could you tell us a little bit more about the playground? What does the actual classroom layout and if there's a playground, what does that all look like? Like if I was there,
explain it to us vividly, the environment of the class and how it looks like.
Okay, well, God has definitely blessed us to have acres of land. The past 20 years we've been there on the acres, so we have different parts. We have our praise and worship, like our main section, sanctuary. We have different offices. We have the marriage ministry. We have a teenage ministry, juvenile hall ministry, children's ministry. Like I said, we work with. We're trying to reach full capacity. We have a vision of where we would like to see our church and where we would like to go in 2020 with the land. I mean, our church, God has blessed us. It's built out of stone. It's like church on a rock almost. It's wonderful.
You've been there for a really long time.
Yes, and God has blessed us with our church and the beautiful architectural structure that we've been able to keep. You know, people walk by it, they know the significance and the beauty of our church, and so we've been able to expand on the land, and that's where we have our. It is kind of like down, like an amphitheater, like the houses are like up there surrounding it, you know.
How do you think that affects the volume?
Well, I feel like it's such a blessing. I thank God for just putting us there, you know, in the middle of the community to be able to pray for these neighborhoods around us and everything.
How does it affect the sound?
Well, we pray, we do praise and worship, we sing as loud as we sing to the heavens and everything. You know, we believe that we're down there and we're just singing up to the heavens, and we really appreciate the geography of our church being able to bless the neighborhood. A lot of people in our community, I'm not just saying that because I'm the pastor or anything, but I feel like a lot of people in our community have been blessed by all the members and everybody who contributes to our church.
So you appreciate the geography and how your church is, so you just, like the way it is, correct?
Yes.
Pastor Haley, you had mentioned a mission. Can you explain what is your church's mission?
Our mission is to give back to the community and for everybody just to be saved by God and be ready when the trumpets blow, when the rapture comes. That's what our main goal is. It's just to save people so that when they finish their race, they can go on to heaven. We want to reach and touch as many people as possible. That's the main part of our mission. But we believe that through these other different ministries that we have, that's a way that we can do that. That's a vehicle so that we can reach our mission.
So outreach to the community is something that's very important to your church.
Oh, definitely.
Okay. Well, I think we should move on and let Mrs.
But you see what our church is doing. What our church is doing in our mission. What do you think our mission is?
It's actually not important what I think your
Oh,
mission
you
is.
asked me what our mission was, so I wanted to know if you got everything.
Right now, we have to stay like in touch with the mediation.
But that's really
'cause
important for me for y'all to just understand what
Yes.
our mission
we
is.
can
I think
discuss
that
that
everybody needs to
after.
know what our
Definitely, we
mission
would
is.
love to hear about your mission.
So let's
and
go on
everything.
with it.
However, right now we're in a mediation, and then we would love to hear from both of your sides so that we can actually mediate and understand both of you. Okay? So thank you so much for sharing your story. So let me
Mission.
and mission, please.
Mhm.
And let me hear from you, Mrs. Nee. Thank you so much. Please describe your experience with church and the environment.
Thank God God has blessed you.
So my husband and I, we recently moved into our neighborhood.
Praise God.
Okay, we recently moved into the new neighborhood with our baby. We just
Oh,
wanted.
thank you. Oh, praise
Pastor
God. Praise
Haley.
God. I'm just praising. Sorry, it's just so
I
thank you.
I understand that you're sharing the excitement for
Enthusiasm.
for
Yes,
Can
I'm
we just
really
ask-
happy to see what the neighborhood has done.
We just want to ask you if you can hold your comments because it can be very distracting, and we want you to be able to hear every single thing that Nee is saying and just really soak it in. So I'm just going to ask you to hold your comments for right now, okay?
And then going back to one of our ground rules, we want to have a one voice, okay?
Mm.
So that in that case, yeah, we would hear from each other and we would have a clear explanation.
Testimony, yes.
Yes,
So she's gonna
of
give us our testimony. I'm sorry, it's a spotlight. Share
Of
your
course,
testimony
of
of what
course,
God has
of
blessed
course.
us.
Okay, so basically we are new people like living in the area. We've been living there for probably less than a year now. So the church, they opened up their daycare about, I want to say 6-7 months ago, and up until that point it was all fine. But when they opened up their daycare, the noise that we've been getting like from the children, it's been very excessive. I don't know exactly what's going on there, but they are crying and they sound like they're in pain, like over, like for long periods of times, like over like numerous, like several times a day. And I just don't think that's very normal. Like I said, I don't know what's going on there. It could be child neglect, it could be child abuse. I'm not 100%
Could
sure.
you explain and elaborate your experience about that?
Well, basically me and like several other neighbors,
Yes.
because of like the way that the church is like on the land and the topography of it, the sounds that are coming from the church is like amplified 10 times even more. So all of us can hear like the children crying, the pain that they're in, and it's very hard to. It's very painful to hear basically. And like we don't know what's going on there, so we can't help but assume that like something like that is going on there, so we don't really know. And another issue is that because they open up their daycare and it's like this.
Can I stop you really fast
Yeah.
before moving on? I
Yeah.
apologize.
Flash.
Oh.
Oh.
I apologize for interrupting you, but I just want to focus on, just for a quick second, just kind of get some clarity on what you're saying, because I think, about the child, you're not sure, but they sound like they're in pain. I
Yeah.
think that's something important. I don't want to gloss over it, and I don't think it'd be fair to Pastor Haley, and I don't think it'd be fair to you. So let's see. So can you tell me more about your team? Sorry, is it one child that
It's like numerous children. It's not just one, and like
Okay.
and it also like amplifies it, so like everyone like can tell that it's like more than one. It's not,
Are you, let's see, are you open to the possibility of, that it just might be the amplification of it? I don't mean to make that a closed-ended
Or like
question,
exaggerate.
but,
Oh no, I understand. Like it's just like the way that they're crying. Like it doesn't like it's so long for like almost the whole day. It's just not normal. And like the fact like because of the amplification, like we are able to hear it. If we weren't able to hear, we wouldn't even know what's going on. So that's like me and the neighbors. We have a bad feeling that something's like.
Oh, wait. If you don't mind, can we call it caucus? I would like to have a caucus.
Yes,
Yeah,
of course.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
me, since Pastor Haley called the caucus, we're just gonna ask
It's
if you
nothing
sit
against
Okay.
you, dear. Not at all.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you. Okay, Pastor Haley, so since you called the caucus, I'll just let you begin and share your thoughts.
Well, just before, I don't want anything to get out of proportion or anything, but as I mentioned, we love our children. They're beautiful gems. We provide everyone. We treat every child in the church just like they're our own children. And I believe you can check any one of our teachers. They're great. I couldn't even call them up. They're so dedicated. They would come down here right now to mediation, and you'd be able to see the type of people that I'm talking about. And I feel like for her to accuse us of something is just absurd, and that's just such outrageous that somebody would even think about that. I mean, don't you know the history of our church? We have a Wikipedia page. We've been in the city newspaper for all the different and wonderful events that we have. And I believe that this is just the devil trying to come in and to rob our church. It's nothing but just the devil. I'm not saying that she's the devil, but it's the devil using her to say something about our church, because each and every one of our teachers is dedicated to serving our children. They give up their time. They are not even compensated fully. They're doing this out of the pureness and the kindness of their hearts. Now we follow, it is a secular preschool, but we do follow all of the state regulations that it requires in order for our daycare to be to run. And so I can assure you that nothing like this. I mean, she can go. I mean, why all of a sudden she just picks our daycare facility? I mean, there's several different daycare facilities in the city. I mean, there's over 30 or 40 of them. And so, I mean, why can't,
It could be that, do you think maybe it's because of the area and the closeness to her house and to the church?
Yeah, and I believe that she's just using the children. I mean, God forgive me, but I mean, I feel like she's just using the children as an excuse just to get her way, just to say that. I mean, how could she prove that?
I could definitely see that this upsets you a lot to be accused of something like that.
Yeah, so I will not go through with being accused, and I want her to know that I will not. So when we in this caucus, and if you have to go and have a caucus with her, you better tell her in that caucus that I will not proceed with her trying to accuse and investigate our church, because I'm just going to stop this right now before this goes to anything else, okay? I cannot continue with this process if she's thinking like that. So we definitely have to get on the page about the same thing and get one or two things straight about that.
Pastor Haley. So, yeah, based on what I can gather from what you've said to us, so you'll be willing to let us discuss what you have discussed in this caucus, yes or no?
Well, you better just tell her that she better get her cotton picking mind straight and let her know that we will not have anybody to say that. So I need her to come back and to say that none of that stuff is happening. That's just absolutely absurd and absolutely outrageous.
So you'll be willing to let us discuss what you have discussed to us?
Just that part.
And when
Just
you say
that
what is that part? Can you put it in quotations?
I can't put it in the right
Okay, so I see that
quotations,
you're offended
Yes.
by being.
I'm offended? You're saying I'm offended? What makes you think I'm offended? Would you feel offended if somebody said that?
My opinion doesn't matter in this case, but what I'm trying to say is that it sounds like you are upset by her accusing you of your classrooms being mistreated by teachers. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct.
Okay, then I'm not understanding. So can you
elaborate
a little bit more?
definitely,
Sorry, I just need to slow it down
definitely.
because I want to make sure I follow along.
I mean, I am upset, and I'm representing the behalf of the church. I'm representing each and every one of our teachers who gets up every morning to go and to be with our precious children. They're giving up time out of their days and out of their schedules in order to work with our children. And for someone to accuse that of that, that's very hurtful for her to say something like that. That hurts me a lot, but I'm not going to let it get to me or make me upset or get me all riled up, because I know that's nothing but this the devil.
We can see that your employees, our volunteers, are really hard workers.
Yes, and very dedicated. Some of our volunteers are actually parents in there.
Yes.
There are a lot of
we
our
understand
people
that.
in there are parents. We have people from all over the community. Some of our teachers in there, they're actually certified teachers, and they have their full-time day jobs, and they give up some days in their week to go and to be with the children. Now, we do compensate our teachers, but we pay them nothing of what the services that they should be. We don't compensate them what what they should be compensated, you know? They're giving up time out of their day, so, but I just feel like right now, we need to just pump the brakes and say, whoa, like, that's just shocking. For me to come here and hear this tonight, that's just shocking and outrageous, and I will not tolerate anybody to say that about our church. I mean, she's gonna have to come back in here and have her story changed, because she is not gonna use that as a way to get her way to say that we're too loud. You're blaming it on the children.
Well,
Do you
Pastor
see that
Bailey-
she's blaming it on the precious children?
I see
I
that
mean,
you-
those
that
people,
you
they
feel
mow,
that way.
they mow their lawns and everything, and we never made any complaints because we know where we're located. We know the topography of the church, and so I just
Pastor-
need for you to understand that, you know, they make their noise too. They have their secular parties and everything, and everybody's entitled to their lifestyle and what they would like to do. But I'm saying that that's just wrong.
We can see that you're very upset about the blaming of the children.
How do you, let's change a little bit, I just wanna change focusing on.
But I'm sorry, but before I'm just letting you know how I feel in my thoughts. I mean, I can't go on to another part without you just understanding that.
Absolutely, I don't wanna go on unless we fully understand your thoughts, so please continue.
Yeah, so, I mean, before we move on, the first thing that we have to understand is that what she's saying is outrageous for someone to even think that. I'm just appalled. Has she even, I mean, that's why I was asking where I knew you guys from, or if I knew anybody. That's why I say people are more than welcome to come by our church. We host like a little pilot program. If people want to, we do have a waiting list, but we do host a pilot program so the kids can come and see how our church is and how it, you know, we've improved. We're helping our toddlers, you know, get ready for kindergarten and prep and everything. You guys should see. I mean, I can have my secretary bring all of the concrete results that has been provided to this community because of our daycare. And we love our children. We would never harm our children.
Yeah, and we think that.
And we have full documentation. If there's any incidents, if the kid needs a Band-Aid, I mean, it's always documented. Any injuries that happen to the children is fully documented. And I feel like that's just disrespectful for her to try to come and say something like that or accuse us. I mean, I'm not feeling respected. You said at this mediation that we needed to feel respect, and I'm just feeling a lack of respect from her. It's very hard for me to have respect for her. Now, she's a child of God, and I love all people. I don't despise anyone. But, I mean, that's just outrageous. And I speak on behalf of my church. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
I understand that this situation is extremely upsetting for you, and I see that the church is something that's very important to you, and having this program is something that's very important. You value children's lives. It sounds like you truly care about them. And to speak on that, how do you think that Mrs. Nguyen feels if she has a concern for the children's well-being? What do you have to say about that? I mean, regardless of the fact that she is concerned about them being abused, what would you say about her concern?
Well, I would say that she has a little boy, so if she wants to enroll him in the program, she's more than welcome to try out our pilot program to ensure that no harm is being done to the children. I mean, like I said, I have respect for her. I mean, what if I were to hear noises from her house or any other neighbor's house and say that there was child abuse going on in that home?
Well, that's a really big point that you just brought up, and I commend you for bringing that up, is that you just acknowledged the fact that she has a child herself, and that she may be concerned about the children's welfare, and that's a great suggestion that maybe she could bring her own child to see for herself.
Of course, and let me just say, this is just between us here at the conference. You said everything here.
Yes, everything's confidential.
But I believe that they're having marriage problems.
Okay.
I can hear them yelling. I work in my office. I don't just go on Sunday, but I can hear yelling. There's abuse going on in that home, and it's not healthy for that children. So you don't know that. You don't know that, okay?
But you said
so
it's confidential.
Yeah, it's confidential, but
So, yes.
but that
But
is
you
background
you-
information that that you have
So-
and we have, but I don't want to bring it up to her because it is
So I send
confidential.
over my prayers. I pray for every neighborhood. I pray for her and her well-being, for her marriage and for her children. But looks like she's having marriage problems. So So for her to accuse that, I mean, I can hear her and her husband yell to the top of their lungs. We got a little baby infant in there.
So how do you think her possible abuse in her and maybe her family that might be going, how do you think that might be affecting what she's hearing at the school?
Could you
Well,
elaborate
I
more
think
on
that-
the abuse part? Like,
Well, I think,
describe your experience.
now, I don't mean to put everybody's business out there. I don't know you too well, and I don't want to put her business all out there. But what I'm saying is that I am subject to believe that there's abuse going on in her home, and I know for a fact that there's no abuse going on in our daycare. So maybe her and I should have a conversation about that. But you know, what you said, what I have to say about her is that how would I feel if there was abuse going on in her home is I pray for that family every day. I pray for her family.
Yes, we
I
understand.
pray for each and every person in the neighborhood and their family. I want their marriage to work. I want their kids to do well. That's why I said I think it'd be good, you know, if their baby could come and try out our pilot program for our daycare. Maybe I would even put them at I would bump them up on the waiting list, because I believe that if they enroll that baby in that daycare, that their marriage will get better because they'll want to come to our services.
Okay, so what we can get in from what you're saying is that you care about them too, correct?
Yes.
Yes, and you're a really caring person by saying that, right? Yes.
Would you, how would you feel if Mrs. Nguyen was willing to explore different options in settling her concerns that there might be child abuse? How would you feel about exploring those options?
I'll explore some of her. What's going on in her house? So
What would
then,
it mean?
how about we have to do a full investigation of the neighborhood to make sure that there's no abuse? I don't want any child abuse. Maybe we should do I think maybe perhaps some workshops on child abuse would be helpful. Or maybe
So are
we
you
have workshops on child abuse at our church. We do marriage counseling programs. I think that would be good. Thank you. You said I can write this, so you thank God, you just gave me an idea for another ministry. Yes. So child.
So are you
abuse
saying
program.
that
Classes, abuse classes. That would be really helpful. Classes.
So you're saying that there's an abuse going on in their house, correct?
I'm not saying anything right now.
Because based on what can we gather and what you have elaborated to us.
I'm not sure right now. I'm not sure.
You are not sure. So if you have any experience to back what you're assuming from the other party, do you know if you can elaborate that to us?
I would choose not to, but if she
Okay.
wants, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So are you
so
saying
much.
that if she chooses to let us know and bring it up and share it with you, then we can bring it up? But as far as this caucus goes, it's confidential.
Yes.
I just don't really feel that that's necessary to go and do all that. So that's why I said that we need to get that thing straight, that there was no child abuse going on in our daycare. So
And that's what I'm trying to touch on is that how would you feel about exploring different options to settle the neighbors so that they know that there isn't child abuse going on?
so what type of options?
I don't know, but I think that would be something that maybe you and Mrs. Nguyen can explore together and agree that something that you're both comfortable with.
Well, I
How
don't
would you
have
feel
anything.
about that?
I'm definitely willing to explore that. I don't have an idea, but that's something we can explore. Maybe she has an idea.
Okay.
So would you say that this caucus is confidential or?
Yeah, this
that-
it is
okay.
confident. Yeah, I think that's what she's saying. Okay,
Yes, I just want to touch on that.
so can we discuss some of the key issues? So for right now, for you, you're concerned with the community outreach, which entails your school. You're concerned about the accusations and and the neighbors. Is there anything else that are key concerns that we can maybe not specifically address without breaching confidentiality, but that you can keep in mind coming back into the mediation?
Yes.
To talk about and kind of bring up so that we can get some understanding
Well,
on
one
this part.
solution Like, I'm hearing what the neighborhood is saying, and that if they're saying, if I'm having several people call my secretary and saying that the noise from our church is bothering them, there's a difference. There's a difference between the noise bothering them and them trying to accuse us of child abuse. I believe that they just they just don't like us, and they don't like the noise. It's perfectly fine, but they're just using the child abuse as an excuse just to get their way so we can quiet down. But I'm telling you, we gotta let kids be kids. But some options I'd be willing to explore are the ways that we can kind of prevent the sound and prevent the noise.
Okay, great. Let's
Is
write
there
that down.
anything that we did not touch on?
No.
Okay. So,
Okay, so you are willing to explore options for some noise minimization. You mentioned that your secretary is a little overwhelmed, so how would you say that the communication between the neighbors and you is being affected?
Well, I would say that, like what you said, like the communication, I guess it could be better and it could improve. Since my secretary is swamped, I mean, this is something it's an issue that's been going on for quite a while now, and I would really like to get this behind us so that we can focus on other things in our ministry. But I would even be willing to tell my secretary to put this at the top of her list on things that need to be handled and put some other things onto the side so that way we can take care of this. So I'm going to tell my secretary to bring this matter to her full attention and to get to work as hard as we possibly can to get this issue resolved.
So some better time management on your secretary's part and kind of just reorganizing what's important. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about, you mentioned outreach is important to you. How would you feel about exploring, reaching out to your neighbors specifically? And maybe posting something.
We do door-to-door witnessing. We go door-to-door knocking, and we invite people to our church so people can know who we are.
Okay. Great.
yeah, and based on what we've gathered from what you've said to us, can you explain that? Maybe, okay, I'm just gonna explain what we've gathered from your caucus, okay? It's just to make sure that we did not left anything, or we did not leave anything to be discussed. So you said that there's it's the child abuse classes that you want, the community outreach, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And also the noise deterrence and the communication, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. And if you can just, is there anything that we're missing? Is there any part that we're missing?
I have a question for you. What did I tell you one thing that needs to be resolved before we talk about anything else? What you need to tell Miss Nee? That's what
I see. So you are, you don't want to hear her accuse you and your church of child abuse. Is that correct?
Well, what I'm saying is that she needs to understand that there's no possible way that child abuse could be going on in our church.
And so, as previously discussed earlier,
I
you
was-
were willing to explore ideas, though, to kind of
To
help
we
put
can
her
go-
at ease.
Tomorrow we have our classes in the morning. She's more than welcome to come and meet our teachers and see our programs and our schedules. Some of the information we have is confidential, but I would love for her to come and just check out the class, maybe get her son signed up just to check it out.
So I have an idea, and if you're okay with it, but after her caucus, once mediation starts, she may bring up the fact that her concern is that the children are being abused. And how would you feel about bringing up what you just said as an offering to kind of put her at ease? How would that make you feel?
Yeah,
Okay.
and explain to her how
Yeah,
you feel
yes.
so that we can create
And could you guys explain to her as
communication
well?
between you both.
What
Yeah,
I
we'll
said?
explain to her that it's upsetting for you to hear that, and yeah, does that sound about right?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
So, yeah, if you can exit out and we'll get
Excellent.
yes, exit out and then we'll get Mrs. Me here.
There's tea and coffee too. I forget if
Yes.
you need this time to use
And there's
restroom.
bathroom. Just go straight, turn to your left. Hello, welcome back. Welcome to your caucus. Okay, so if you can explain to us your side of the story, since we've heard Pastor Haley, like, tell her about her story.
So like I mentioned earlier, there weren't any issues before that daycare started, and it's just like the excessive like crying and like basically it doesn't sound like they're being taken care of. It sounds like they're in pain most of the time, and the fact that we could like hear, the fact that it's louder to us and we can hear all of it is really bothersome for us.
Can you explain a particular experience when you've you've experienced that particular experience that you've heard the kids are crying and wailing?
Yeah. Like if we're outside, like even our neighbors, they can hear the sound as well. It's like very noticeable because of the way the land was built. I don't know if it's just like that one area where the daycare is and that's why we're hearing the sound, but it's still it's like it's taking like a toll on some people here because I know, including myself, we moved here for some peace and quiet and we're not getting that at all. And it's an affluent neighborhood, like we paid a lot of money. I feel like we shouldn't have to deal with this.
So it sounds like peace of mind is important to you. It also sounds like you are concerned about the children as well.
Yes.
Yeah, we can see that you really care about this. You deeply care about
Yeah, I
this.
have a baby boy myself.
Yes.
Okay, and how would you describe your experiences with the parents and
Like the parents at the daycare center?
mhm. Does that ever affect?
Well, there's a lot of traffic. I don't know if because there's no clear way to go or they're just like confused, but there's like so much traffic and that creates a lot more noise. I don't think the parents are aware of what this neighborhood is supposed to be like, but they constantly slam their doors. I see a lot of like shouting and they're not, I feel like they don't pay attention because I almost got hit twice by them.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like while I was just trying to like go through the crosswalk, I almost got hit twice.
So,
I'm sorry,
go
me.
ahead.
You had mentioned that how the neighborhood is supposed to be like.
Yeah.
In your mind, what would your neighborhood be like? What would you like to see? You know, when you moved in, what was your vision?
Well, when I was buying that house, they told me what the neighborhood was like. They said it was like a very peaceful, quiet, kind of like a small community, like because it's away from the city. So that's what I was hoping for. Since my husband and I, we're attorneys, so we have like a very like high-paced lifestyle. So it's just nice to go back home and just relax a little bit. But it's hard to do that when you hear the children crying. So I was hoping for like peace, quiet, like just like a really like small, tight-knit community. Yeah.
So would you say that community is important to you then as well?
Yeah, I want my boy to grow up in like a safe area.
And also safety is one of your concerns.
Yeah, in regards to you almost being.
Yeah, I mean if that
That's
could
a
happen to me, that
dangerous
could happen to my
situation.
kids. So
Mhm.
yeah, something needs to be done about of all the congestion flow around there. Yeah.
So parking and congestion flow.
Yeah, and like the parents who like drop off and pick up their kids, they're very, very loud. They slam the doors. I don't know, it seems like they're very inconsiderate.
Yeah. Could you elaborate more on that loud noise? Could you describe?
Like, well, like I said, they slam their car doors. They kind of like yell at their kids to go. And then like when some of my neighbors who also agree with me, when they tried to talk to them, it was like they just weren't having it. They weren't really like taking what we were saying into consideration at all.
So how did your neighbor took the action? So they just.
Well, we tried contacting the church about it. We tried numerous times, so we couldn't get through to anyone. Like we've only been able to talk to their secretary for like probably the last 5 times that we tried calling them. So we haven't been able to discuss like the crying and the traffic issues. Like this is the first time we're talking to each other face to face.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you think about then in that light? would you describe the communication then between you guys?
Honestly, non-existent because it's just through us and the secretary right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how would you feel about further bettering that communication?
Yeah, I would like that. I mean, I understand the church has been established for 20 years. I'm not asking them to completely move away or demolish it or anything or just get rid of the daycare. I understand that it helps the communities, but it's just like all the crying and all that, it gets us all worried because it's just not normal at all. I mean, I understand it's a daycare, but kids will be kids. So like a daycare, like they're like teachers. They're supposed to be there taking care of the kids, and I feel like if we keep hearing that, they're not really taking care of them.
Yeah, we see that it's not only a disturbance
Yeah.
in your neighbor, but it's also disturbance personally, correct?
Yeah, it's been taking a toll on some of us. It's just like because it's so loud, it's hard to communicate with my husband. But overall, we've been doing okay. It's just like it kind of like gets us like all riled up, and then it just like causes more like miscommunication between us and like the other neighbors or our spouses and whatnot.
Can you elaborate on that as far as this just communication on
The part of your husband.
Oh, well, because there's been like so much crying and all that, basically everything that we've been hearing, it's like taken a toll on us because it's happening so much throughout the day, and then like by the time one of us comes home or like, because one of us has to watch like the boy, it's like it's just like hard to like kind of be like optimistic and positive when you have to deal with that crying all day. So it's just like, so like every time we talk, we're like kind of annoyed just because of what's going on with the daycare and whatnot.
Okay. And you mentioned all day. So is the daycare, as far as you know, is it all day or is it like certain hours? Do you know the hours?
I'm not quite sure. I'm assuming like the last pickup times is like 5 p.m. or something like that. But like the crying isn't all day, but it's like through several periods of the day. Like there's some like kind of breaks, but it still lasts like almost the whole day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had a question and then I just lost it. I apologize. How would you feel about, Pastor Haley, she let us know and just let you know, reiterate that this is all confidential and caucus is completely confidential, but Pastor Haley did give us permission just to touch on the fact that she was maybe I should say hurt and a little bit offended of hearing that her children, her school and her kids are being abused. I know that she had mentioned that she truly cares about kids, but how would you feel about possibly exploring different options to kind of settle your fears about the kids being abused?
Yeah, I'm completely open to that. I mean, I honestly don't know what's going on there, but I didn't know any other way to phrase it, so I'm sorry, to her if it came off like that, but it's just like the children, it sounded like they were in pain, I didn't know how else to say it, and like, we don't know what's going on there since it's like down or up on that hill, so like, we never been there, so we don't know, so, I mean, the only thing we can do is like assume.
Okay.
Yeah, we understand that you truly deeply care about the children. Go ahead, I'm so sorry.
Oh, no. No, I mean, that's pretty much all that I have. I just want to make sure, if there's anything else that we can address for you.
I don't think so. Like, my main issues were just, like, the safety of, like, my family whenever we walk into that area, because I feel like the drivers there aren't very, like, they don't pay much attention really, and just about like the noise bothers me as well. If there's any way to resolve, like I'm not asking them to move, like if they could perhaps move the daycare center to another area on their property or add soundproofing or something like that, because the noise really does bother us. Like we wanted a peaceful neighborhood.
How would you feel about maybe after a little bit of discussion between you and Pastor Haley, bringing those points up as far as being willing to discuss different options.
Yes.
Would you
Yeah.
be okay?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah, would you be willing to do that with Pastor Haley?
Yeah.
Okay. So the important parts that you wanted to really make clear to us were
Noise complaints, just the loud noise that is coming from the area,
Yeah, it's just ruining the whole atmosphere of the neighborhood.
and also your safety in your family, especially your children, correct?
Yes, yeah, that's a big issue.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you guys about covered it. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, and we will call Pastor Haley in a moment, okay? So, Pastor Haley, you can come away. Hello, welcome back, Pastor Haley.
So, where we left off before the caucus was, we heard your side of the story. I think that maybe it would be fair if we heard,
Mrs. Lee's side
yeah.
about her side of the story.
So I apologize for saying that there might be child abuse or child neglect. At the time, I didn't know how to word it. It's just the things that I've been hearing from the children. It makes me and all the neighbors were very worried about the well-being of the children. So we just didn't know, I didn't know another word or phrases. So again, I apologize for that. But the noise, it still bothers us. It's a big concern for all of us. And again, just like the amphitheater effect is really bothersome because all of us, when we bought our houses, we were told that it would be a peaceful and quiet neighborhood. And I'm not asking you to move the church or anything like that. I'll just somehow reduce the noise to a manageable level. And another issue that I told the mediators was all the traffic coming in from the parents. I've almost been hit twice just trying to walk to the church. And yeah, I feel like there's not, maybe they don't know the exact way to go, maybe they're lost, but I feel like they don't pay enough attention and they're not very considerate of the other people that are living there. And one other issue that was brought up was that I mentioned that this was the first time that we've talked face to face. I wasn't able to communicate with you. I've only been able to talk to your secretary the last couple of times that I tried to contact you about these issues. Yeah, so again, I apologize for the accusation of child abuse. But it's just my neighbors and I, it's a very big issue for us and we would like to resolve this.
Pastor Haley, how do you feel after hearing those words from Mrs. Nee?
Well, thank you very much for sharing that with me, and I can assure you that I will not tolerate abuse in my church, child abuse at all. So if I would ever to find out that there was child abuse or even to suspect that there was child abuse, I would report it to the authorities immediately. I would not tolerate that. I treat each and every child in that church just like they're my own. So even if and I'm not even speaking for myself because I feel like I'm not even there, because there's so many different areas of the ministry and so many different people that I have in charge. So, and they all give me reports. I get reports from each and every ministry just to see how it's doing. So if I were to ever hear or suspect anything from that or have people report to me, I have open communication with my staff members if they ever need to communicate an issue with me. And I can assure you that if anything were to go down like that, that I would report it, and that I have zero tolerance for anything like that. No funny business whatsoever. We definitely take pride in our reputation that we have and our integrity, and we carry our church with integrity. And thank you very much for sharing that with me. I didn't know that you had almost gotten hit, and I definitely want you to be a safe environment. So that is at the top of my list in order to have safety for you to be able to walk your children in the neighborhood. I think that's definitely a community problem. Also, I again thank you for sharing that with me. I didn't know that you weren't able to communicate with me. I try to make myself open and available and give my secretary communicate messages, but I will give you my private contact information information so that you're able to reach out with me and so that the neighborhood has a way to reach me. Like I said, the best way to reach me, I mean, is with my secretary, but if anything would ever be urgent, you have my contact information now. Again, like I said, I would put that at the top of my list for the children. But again,
So, I mean, I want to thank you for giving me your word on the fact that there's no abuse going on with children, but I feel like that might not be enough for some of the neighbors. I feel like we would be more, it would give us more security, it would make us feel more safe that, is it possible for like some of us just to go down there and check like what's going on once in a while, just so like we could like feel more safe about what's going on
since
with
we
the
ensure the
kids?
safety of the children, we want to make sure that there's no pedophiles stopping by the church, and we definitely need a background on who would be
Yeah, we
coming
could
by
do
the
like a
children.
login.
I wouldn't approve of that because of the state laws that we have to comply to, is that we can't just have anybody coming down to the church to check on our children because we don't know who's who, and we definitely do background checks on all of our teachers and people who are around our children, and so
What would
we
you
don't want
suggest?
anyone of a criminal background.
What would you suggest going forward to kind of, maybe not exactly what Mrs. Nee is saying, but what would you suggest? It might be something similar or might be more of a compromise. Any suggestions?
Yeah, we just want to visually see that there's no abuse, like just to like have us feeling all like just like secure, you know, just like to make sure.
Well, what would you like to see?
Well,
So do you want to walk inside the church?
yeah, I mean
look.
like if that would be great, or like we could have someone else come in, like
But I
someone
kinda
that's
thought-
gonna like approves with the background check and all that.
I kind of thought that we were moving forward and going somewhere, and I feel like moving forward is like to assure you that none of that is going on. And I mean, like for
I
someone,
understand that, but I just feel like just giving me your word it isn't enough for me and like the other neighbors.
So it sounds like that maybe trust is starting to be built. Would you agree? But can you both tell me separately how does trust look like for you? You know, so that you guys can be able to trust each other and move forward from this. Pastor.
Well, I feel like with trust, it's like looking at our history and how we've been established. We've never been in the media or anything like that. Anything bad happening from our church. I mean, I feel like we definitely do have our highs and our lows. Our church goes through financial problems with retaining membership and, you know, trying to kick off programs. We started programs in the past that have not been very successful. And so with going forward to ensure, I mean, how do you ensure that any daycare that no children are being abused? I mean, can anyone just walk into any daycare and say, oh, I think that the children are being abused? I mean, what are the regulations for that?
Do you have an idea of you know, how can you put Mrs. Nee at ease? Is I guess what I'm saying. Is there anything that you can offer?
Well, I feel like, don't you trust me? I feel like all three of you here are sitting here and accusing me something and you don't believe me and you're not
It's
taking
just
me on
that
my
this
word
is the
on.
first
Can
time
you
that
help me?
we've met.
But I feel like none of you are here taking me on my word of what I'm saying, and everybody here is just sitting here accusing us of child abuse and what we're doing.
No, I'm sorry, Pastor Haley. I assure you that my co-mediator and I are completely biased in this situation.
Biased, yeah.
We are unbiased, and we do not.
We do not side on anyone's side. Like,
But
this is
okay,
not.
you're telling me that, but your actions, I feel like, are saying something different. Everybody here is accusing us of child abuse, and that's just outrageous. I mean, what if I were to just go around accusing people of certain, like, different things? I mean, what kind of country do we live in where I thought it was innocent until proven guilty?
And it is. And we aren't judging you. That isn't our job to do that at all. And we want you to feel comfortable, safe, and we want you to feel like we are being unbiased, and we're just here to facilitate this communication, which I know right now it seems like it's at a stop, but you guys are doing really well, and I commend you guys again for really just coming to the table and communicating. So it sounds like the idea of having someone come into the church and seeing for themselves is not something that you want.
But
Can
if
you
that makes,
elaborate on
if
that?
I feel like, if that makes her feel better, then that's fine, but I feel like after that, there's not gonna be any sense of trust, so if she's willing
So
to
the
give up
trust is breaking for you.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
And remember, we want the best for both of you in this mediation, like,
So
we want
you're
this to work.
so I'm just gonna say this, I believe you're more than welcome to do an investigation, however legally you would like to proceed in that. I'm not gonna have anyone just coming in to check upon our church because we care about the well-being of our church and we don't want just anyone rolling through and around our children because
Okay.
we want our children to have the utmost care.
Mhm.
But if it makes you feel better, then you can go ahead and do an investigation. But I will say, what if I choose not to do an investigation? Then what? I mean, do I legally have to do an Do I legally have to
We're
allow
not
them to do
talking
an
about
investigation?
legally having to do that. What we're saying is,
But I feel like if she doesn't trust me, if she doesn't trust that the kids
This is
are
the first
okay,
time.
then I mean, why should I trust that the kids are like not okay? I mean, who's to say one's above each other? I mean, you just gonna let her get her way?
No, like what I'm saying is this is the first time that we've met, so it's hard to
Yeah,
establish
it's-
trust in such a short amount of time. I feel
Okay,
like
so
as
it's not
time goes
trust.
by, we can establish trust between each other. Good, like I don't know right now, like it kind of makes me wary. that
Okay, and you don't have to trust me, and I don't have to trust you. There we go. So we don't trust each other. Can we agree on that? Can we agree that you don't trust
She's
me?
like twisting my words.
Okay, Pastor Haley, and this is me. So what I'm hearing from you is that while you are semi-willing to do an investigation, that would break trust for you. And Mrs. Me, how do you feel about that? So Pastor Haley is telling you that, she truly deeply cares about children the same as you. And that it's very hurtful to hear these accusations and that it would break trust, which you guys are like just starting out on trust, you know what I mean? So how does that make you feel?
Can you repeat that one more time?
There was a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, can you
What part?
Maybe did you kind of understand what I'm trying to say? Maybe my co-mediator can kind of help me break that
So
down.
you're, tell me if I'm wrong. So like, we're saying that we want to get on your side on the trust. Like, how do you feel about what Pastor Haley is trying to say?
How do you feel about what she
Yes.
just said?
Well,
Like, how do you feel about the legal?
it's just like, what if the crying and all what's coming from the children? What if it continues? Like that's what I'm worried about.
So
Like
could
she
we
hasn't like.
soundproof the church so that it would prevent that?
I mean, yeah, you could do that, but like I still would like to know like what's going on there since I do live in the neighborhood. And I live
You're
so
just
close to-
nosy. That's what it is. Nosy
I'm
neighbor.
sorry, I can't-
Nosy Rosie. Okay. Okay. Go ahead, Nosy Rosie.
So,
Okay, coming back from the mediation.
okay.
I figured it out. No, it's
Oh
just
my
Yeah, it's okay to take pauses, I just want to make sure that we're getting all the right stuff.
Yes.
So,
Maybe we should take a break and let them sit in for a bit.
yeah, let's do that.
Let's do
Are you
that.
guys leaving us?
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe just sit on
Separate.
it. Yeah, separate it. Like have lunch, get some coffee, and sit on it for a little bit, and then we will come back here strong, and then we're gonna
So
try
we
a
have to
rush.
do 2 mediations.
No, we just want you to think about, what do you want to see in your neighborhood?
I want them to be safe with crossing the street, with her being able to bring her kids out.
That's great. Okay, thank you for sharing that.
Safety.
Safety. And do you have something to say on safety?
No, she basically covered it. I'm also worried about the well-being of the children. Like I'm just
Oh.
worried like what if the noise doesn't like stop.
So you're both you both deeply care about the children, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Good.
That children part. So in terms of the communications, how are you feeling about that with your secretary being so stressed out about the neighbor and your neighbors?
She said she's
and
gonna
you?
give me her private number, so we should be able to
Oh,
contact each
okay.
other more efficiently now.
No.
Okay.
So what we have gathered from both of you guys' summaries and everything is you deeply care about safety, the well-being of the children and the communication. Is there other things that we haven't touched on that you would like to discuss in this mediation?
I don't think so. Is there anything you wanted to discuss?
How about the noise that you have described? Could you elaborate more on that and explain it to Pastor Haley? Maybe we can
Okay, for the
retouch something about
100th
that.
time.
I'm so sorry.
It sounds like they are in pain. That's what me and the neighbors are getting at. That's what we hear. It sounds like they are in pain, and it's like nonstop
What does it sound
crying. Oh, I can't make the
Is
sound.
it a wah, or is it a ah, ah?
It's a mixture of both, and I don't know, like, cause it is a daycare, so like it's it's kind of like a preschool, I'm assuming, where they take care of the kids. I don't know. Are they being taken care of? Because that's not what me and the neighbors
Are they
like.
being taken care of? Let me answer your question. We have the best.
Then why is there so much noise? Like,
Because we
constantly?
believe in. So you want us to put duct tape over the kid's mouth?
No,
That
I'm
would be
not
child
asking you to
abuse.
do that.
Okay, so it
So
does sound
I
like,
feel like we just keep taking steps backwards.
yeah, we don't want to take steps
Yeah.
backwards. So I think that, so what Cheryl had said, focusing on the safety, the better communication, and in your guys' both care deeply for children. I know we have that part, right? But as far as the noise, you're saying you have a deep concern about the noise that's coming from it. Besides the fact that she is saying that she's concerned about there being abuse, would you be willing to explore options of minimizing the noise?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, and maybe
Would she be able to minimize the nosiness?
Excuse me?
So, Pastor Haley, coming back for the mediation, so what would you like to see that is invested on the noise problems? Like, do you have any
Her
opinions
to-
for that?
Minimize her nosiness, to bring it down a notch.
She's
To
being so disrespectful to me right now.
And we don't want there to be disrespectfulness between either of you. We want you guys both.
She looks like she's gonna punch me.
Would you like to take a break?
We probably want to take a break and sit on it for a little bit, and
Do you
then
know what? This has been a very long meeting.
every time I say she
It
don't
went
know, you want to take a
past, it went past the time limit. Can we schedule this for another day, please?
Absolutely.
So
I
it's-
think it'd be important for you guys to maybe
I
sleep
think
on
it's
it.
yeah, sleep
Yeah.
on it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
can you tell her to stop looking at me like that?
Like what?
okay, so
Okay. So then, yeah, we're gonna close mediation. We don't want to rush to a
Children.
solution. You know,
yeah,
this can be a very taxing and very tiring experience. And it sounds like though that you guys have agreed on multiple things.
Yes.
Her nosiness.
Okay.
Her nosiness.
Pastor Haley,
She probably has microphones on my church.
Excuse me.
so
Okay,
yeah,
no.
coming back to the mediation, coming back to the closing of the mediation. So we touch on about safety, we're good on that, communication, children, like the well-being of
Yeah.
the children and everything. However, we still need to think about the noise and what we can do with that. And we're always here. You can always contact us, me and Dami, okay? So if you would like to come back and, just sit on that and explain more about it and what you can do about it, and we will be happy to help you, okay?
So we're not able to reach a solution today.
Well, we reached a solution on our communication problem and the
Yes.
safety issues. So we can come back and talk about the noise because I feel like it needs a lot more.
Yeah, I think that would be good for both of you, and
Yes.
maybe just having better communication and kind of tailoring the safety parameters of the area.
If anything, I can always contact you if the noise gets very loud.
Yeah, maybe you can check in when the noise gets really loud. You know, if she's letting you know, you can figure out a way in the future to kind of work together. But I think for now,
It seems like you're willing to work together.
Yeah,
just on the
definitely.
3 of that. That's good already. However, we can't sign an agreement.
and
just
that's
for
okay.
the-
That's
yes.
okay. But you know, just to give you one last chance, does anyone have any suggestions about the noise again? I know bringing up the noise again, but that seems like the last piece, and I don't want to give up completely on mediation unless you guys completely are in agreement that maybe we should call it a timeout.
And also that this is like the beauty of the mediation. You can always come back. We can always come back and talk about all these things. So it is up for you both if you want to proceed more on the mediation.
I would like to explore some ways to soundproof our church, so that way we're not being accused of anything like that, and we can,
Okay.
Okay, so
so she won't have to worry about noise.
Or at least that's the one thing solved.
so it's just a soundproof.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like I still don't know what's going on there, and like I just want to know like why is there so much noise?
Maybe would you be willing to
See that
maybe not, but like go into the class because she's saying that it would breach her certain rules and regulations of her
Yeah.
school. But maybe getting to know Pastor Haley a little bit more in the community that's right next door to you. Would you be willing to explore that? Maybe that would help settle some of your
Yeah, that doesn't
concerns.
sound like a bad idea. Like
Okay.
the teachers there.
And Pastor Haley, earlier you were telling us that one of your missions was to get everyone involved. So
Yes.
would you be willing to have Mrs. Nee come down and maybe
Check out
participate a
your
little bit in
church.
your church?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
and you both really cared about your community a lot.
Yeah.
And then it seems like, you're gonna have a good, and open relationship within each other.
All right.
Yes.
Well, great. So then we're gonna close mediation
Yeah.
now. Any last words?
God bless you all.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.